All right, welcome back to the stream, everybody. Hopefully, everyone survived the biggest liquidation in crypto history. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. I was away. I am here this week, so let's cover what's happening on the charts. Obviously, most of you guys know. Friday, Trump made an announcement for tariffs on China. And we had already seen the stock market start to really react to that right away. Probably one of the biggest dumps in the S&P 500 off the gate, aside from, I want to say, the April moves down. The VIX volatility index spiked, I think, 30% on Friday. 31%. Huge move on the volatility index. This is still, and this printed a long for the very first time in a very long time on the daily time frame here. I'm wondering if that volatility is going to continue. We're going to see. We're going to look at the futures market here. Obviously, futures are up 1% right now. This is, probably a nice oversold bounce that we're getting here on the S&P 500. Very oversold here on the 4-hour time frame. I suspect something similar that we saw, in crypto with its like pretty much snapback recovery that we're seeing right now. Oversold types of recovery candles here coming in. Bitcoin dominance, I think, is something to really watch, as this is our lead indicator here for an alt season or a rotation that we've been kind of on the brink of this rotation here for quite some time, since we identified this top here around 66% Bitcoin dominance, and the weekly is still short. So actually, I think it was caused by some insiders on Binance Exchange with the USDCE stablecoin. And there was an issue on the Binance side where people could use collateral for, I think, certain assets. I forget which ones specifically. But I read something about it where they manipulated that, and they were able to manipulate the whole order book and cause a cascade of liquidations. So I think it was some insiders on Binance that basically were able to manipulate that stuff. Big exploit on the Binance side. So I obviously, and they gave even gave a window when they were going to fix it. So that to me just sounds like very planned, but that's fine. Anyways, so back to the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is like the hopium here. I'm going to give you guys some hopium with this. So the hopium here is Bitcoin dominance back tested this channel. All right, we got a nice long wick. All right, we didn't actually make closures back into this. We're below the weekly bull market support band here for Bitcoin dominance. We can go to the monthly time frame here. You can see also this long wick coming in. We still have about 19 days left the month, but to me this looks like a back test after this drop. Okay, and we can see that we didn't actually, on this rising wedge that the RSI structure is in, it didn't actually break down just yet. So we're getting this bounce. We could even call this a back test before maybe a full-on a breakdown here. And if you go to the quarterly chart, the high time frames here are still pointing to the downside. Liquidation events happen quite frequently in crypto, but I mean, something of that size, I don't think they needed to liquidate all those altcoins like that. But I'll say this, okay? If you looked at others BTC chart. Okay. If you looked at the others BTC chart, you'll get a very good clue as to where we're at on this chart and why what just happened makes a bit of sense, and how this is actually going to maybe pan out now. Yeah, I saw Adam basically just went to zero. That's crazy. But others BTC, still in this major uptrend, right? And so this is kind of what the prelude could look like before a major rally against Bitcoin. All right. I also really like to look at the total three, excluding Bitcoin, ETH, and stablecoins to Bitcoin. Basically everything but those chart. So this is a a long-term bull flag, or we can call it a channel down, but it certainly looks like a flag pattern. And a very, very, very long wick back up here on this recovery candle. Now, this isn't closed, but you can see that long wick. That's a lot of buying coming in on those assets. All right. And your RSI is still down here around 44. And yeah, we'll see how this pans out. But to me, this looks like this could start to materialize into something pretty bullish for a break eventually here. So something to keep an eye on. All right. There's still like lots of, let's look at the fear and greed index, right? I think that's something we should really be paying attention to as well. Okay. The market's still in fair. We had extreme fear yesterday during that liquidation event, or whatever it was 2 days ago. And so when the market's in greed, you have to be a little weary about what's happening typically. Now that the market's in fear, we could be a little bit more on the bullish side of things, okay? Especially after that price action, we just saw a pretty big bounce back. We'll look at the indices too. I think the indices are, they are kind of, hate to say it, but they look kind of like they're ready to roll over. Like I got all sorts of counter trend weekly shorts up here at this fib extension. We could just come back down to test the weekly bull market support band. I think in time that can happen, and that wouldn't be a bearish thing, right? That wouldn't be a bearish thing at all. We get this pullback, and then we just go higher. I don't see anything that really changed in this market's the market. We have all sorts of whatever things coming down the road here. My issue is this. So like you get 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence here with the price making new all-time highs on the weekly time frame here. Obviously you're in an extremely bullish trend. This is the S&P 500 we're talking about here. You can diverge for months, years. We've seen bearish divergence on the S&P 500 for a 10-year period before it actually crashed or collapsed. So, yep, just something to keep in mind, though. The corrections are definitely part of it. All right. When peg, yeah, I don't know. I will say, if you are a Pulse Chain holder, Pulse Chain was unaffected by the liquidation event, and that has everything to do with Pulse Chain is not on centralized exchanges. There is no leverage on Pulse Chain assets. So there's that. Was that a black swan event? I would venture to say that it was a black swan event, yes. Let's look at the ETH Bitcoin chart here. I think this is also pretty important to look at. ETH Bitcoin ratio chart bounced perfectly off the bull market support band. And that looks pretty good. We got some daily counter trend longs right off the support. a beautiful oversold bounce here. You could argue that you're just making higher lows and higher highs. That's why Pulse is best. I think I think eventually what happens is there will be a ton of liquidity that comes in, and when that liquidity does come in, that's when you're going to see all those multiples on the chart. But we can talk about that later. And in terms of like performance, specifically like Wrap Bitcoin and Pulse Chains DAI and Atropa, I think a lot of them outperforming a lot of the traditional altcoin market. Like it's not even close. And even if it's sitting here around $400 or $500, it's I think it's good. I don't see anything really bad with that, but teach their own. I'm not saying you can't own other assets or you shouldn't own other assets. Just my thoughts. All right, so back to Tether here with the 2-day counter trend short signal coming in. We did print a 2-day long here, right? We saw a pretty massive candle. But look, check this out. So the new daily open, rejection, and a sell signal coming in on Tether. That is exactly what we want to see for a trend reversal or a snapback rally, a reversal recovery in crypto land. All right. So that's exactly what we want to see. We're now printing a 12-hour short signal. This should bode pretty well if this confirms, which I don't. After something like that, I don't see why we don't get at least some more relief on what just occurred across the map here. So, and total 3 bouncing right off its 12-hour bull market support band. And look at that wick. So it wicked right through the long-term channel up on total 3. And we're just sitting right back up here. Alt season uncanceled again. Yeah. Yeah, what a crazy wick, man. Look at that. And they closed it right back at the major level of support. That is actually insane. Actually, anyone that was running bots got completely liquidated or wrecked. This was a 35% drop candle on the week for the total 3 market. Across the board, 40% drop across the board. Some assets losing 60, 70% of their value overnight within hours or minutes whenever that liquidation event happened. Crazy stuff. Tron didn't even move, by the way. Look at this thing. This thing didn't even flinch. What did this thing drop? 10%. Binance coin, I don't even think dropped either. Binance coin wicked down and snapped right back up. This thing is insane, man. Insane. Binance coin is absolutely insane. Yeah, I mean, they probably orchestrated this whole event with some insiders and some market makers to do that. This is still probably the best looking chart in crypto land. Binance coin. I don't think any chart compares to this asset's performance. It's not even close. Not even close. I will say this, though. Man, you're at 92 on the weekly RSI, man. You're up there already on this thing. Monthly. I mean, this just broke the monthly RSI. So in theory, this could run all the way up to almost 100. And this can run almost all the way up to the 100 level on the monthly RSI for Binance for probably when that thing tops out. So like what? You're looking at maybe up to about 1,800 to the golden mean ratio. No, it could just be some pump action for Binance. Crazy. Yeah, this looks nuts. It still looks nuts. And your bubble risk indicator isn't really in that zone just yet. It's getting heated, but it's not like, 2021. It's not like 2017. Bubble risk indicator up here, right? All the way up here like that. We didn't make engulfing bearish. You mean candle on Bitcoin's weekly? I don't think we did. I think we got saved into the close here. We did not engulf last week's candle. They wicked it back up. Okay. And now we're getting this snapback right now. This is what's happening. This was what a crazy candle. Yeah, we're just bouncing right off this. You could argue that the bearish divergence basically played out. I mean, that was a crazy candle. Man. Yeah. Like your daily got reset here, right? You made a higher low on the daily RSI. So now you made a higher low. So like, I think, yeah, you ever so slightly made a higher low across the index here. That's just absolutely insane on candle body closes, right? So candle body closed at 110.8, which was the gap fill on the futures market that we were looking to get. Actually, when we were getting this move, I was like, oh man, are we really going to double bottom it and try to break it out? This was basically just like a fake out, big fake out move. Now, if you're a 4-year cycle guy and you follow the cycle repaint chart, well, the repaint chart basically says we topped out at 125K. So there's that. We'll see how that pans out. I still think we're going to see an alt run here. Nobody thinks we're going to see an alt season. I would say majority of folks think we're not going to see anything significant for the altcoins here. And it's really difficult to really think that with the way that this market cycle's been. It's been garbage for most of the alts. Even the major blue chips, aside from Binance Coin, what major blue chip has, XRP, tagged its all-time high, but like tagging all-time highs and making new all-time highs are completely different things for major blue chips, okay? So we're about to find out what's about to go down here in the next couple of days. I think we're going to see some more volatility, and we could see some volatility back to the upside here. There is a top 50 spot ETF coming soon. There you go. So that should drive some action. You know what I don't like about all these ETFs? It's actually stealing liquidity away from the crypto market. All of that money is staying in the stock market because they can just buy ETFs in TradFi. Yeah, we have it. No Pi cycle top. That's what I'm really looking at is the Pi cycle. We may not hit Pi cycle though. Like I know every other cycle we've hit Pi cycle. So why is this cycle any different? I'm actually in that camp. I think that we will hit Pi cycle. But what could happen along the way here is we could get a massive reset, something like this, back to like 80K, and then they take it back up to 180 or something like that. That wouldn't surprise me if we did see some type of volatility like that. All right, and I'm not just talking about Bitcoin going down whatever 10% or 12% and then a huge liquidation event happening. Okay, so that is still a possibility to have happen. All right. Yeah, I'm still cautiously bullish in this market until we lose the 50-week moving average at 100K. That's it. If we lose the 50-week moving average, I think we're going into a major drawdown after that, because that's been the line in the sand for this whole bull run, and I don't see why that would change. Why that would change right now. Here, I'll show you guys something. Okay, this first blue line right here is the 50-week moving average. Okay, every single time we've come down to it, it's held as support. Big rally, come down to it, rally off of it. We haven't tagged it just yet. Okay, we haven't touched it. So we could still come down there to 100K. Right. That's the problem with these treasury companies That's the problem with these ETFs. That's the problem with all this stuff, is that it's all on paper. I don't even really know if they're actually holding the underlying asset. I mean, I'm sure they're claiming that they are, right? Of course they have to claim that they are, or maybe they are holding some or whatever. You know, I don't have that information, that data. I can't naysay it. I'm not one of those people that's just going to start making up stuff. I have no idea. But like, if they're actually holding the spot Bitcoin, then that's great. Then it's fine. I have no problem with it. It's just all that money is just getting sucked into those instruments in TradFi and not coming into crypto. Right? It's staying in one asset. It's staying in Bitcoin. It's staying in Ethereum. Right? It's not being spread through the rest of the altcoin space or the rest of the market, and that makes it difficult for rotations to happen. Right? When we get a true alt run, that's what I'm saying. Well, anyways, we're gonna see how the rest of this month plays out here. We got a couple weeks left in the month. We can see that we do have, we are losing momentum here. The monthly MACD is starting to maybe cross back down. No real confirmation of that yet. We still got, whatever. We have a bunch of bearish divergence here that is definitely being built up on the chart. There's no doubt about that. The 2 month here, the 2 month actually looks okay. The quarterly here still looks okay. Nice, still nice and poised up here on the quarterly. I wouldn't say there's really any bearish divergence on this chart on the quarterly time frame. But yeah, and we're in a quarterly stochastic RSI breakout. That's great. You could also see though that we are entering this overbought territory on the quarterly time frame. But this is still ticked up. Okay. So high time frame still looks, I would say still looks okay. We are starting to trigger the TTM here on the quarterly, which could be signaling that we're maybe getting close to a top. Okay. And we can see that the momentum waves here on the quarterly are making lower momentum waves. Anyways, I do caution you guys with Bitcoin right now. Pancake swap. I mean, if you're looking at this chart, like, there's nothing bad to say about it. It looks like it put in a floor. You tag the top of a range here. It's a BNB asset, or maybe it's not a BNB asset. It's its own asset. It's a DEX that runs on Binance Smart Chain. This looks good. Your 2 month stochastics look good. Your monthly stochastics look good. Your weekly stochastics look good. This all looks pretty good. Okay. You're just range bound here until you break this range at $5 or so, and you start taking that out. You're looking at like $10, and then you'll be back up to 25 later. This looks like a massive accumulation. That's what it looks like. Nothing bad to say about Pancake. That looks pretty good. The weekly here is triggering long for the first time in a very long time. So there you go. There you go. We can talk about Dogecoin for a second. We can look at DOT. So I want to look at Doge here for a minute because I believe there is a Dogecoin ETF coming in, I want to say November. But this structure is very much so intact on the monthly time frame, even after that long wick. You could see. All right, this is an ascending triangle. This could be targeting sometime in whatever in the next couple months here that this maybe actually break out of its ascending triangle if this whipsaws back up here. And that's a very, 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 very bullish structure. Okay. Polkadot got absolutely decimated on this liquidation event. But that is a very long wick on Polkadot there. They did take it back into the bottom of this range, this $3 level. Man, yeah, Polkadot is a blue chip asset. Yes, I believe that is a possibility for Dogecoin. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I got nothing. What do you want me to say about DOT? It's down. It's pretty much down at the bottom, dude. It's pretty much down here at the bottom. You know, this thing wicked down to, oh my God, $1. You could have got a DOT for $1. That's insane. That's insane. Okay. Buy low, sell high, man. So what do you want me to say? This thing is pretty low. SHIB is the only dog that I want. Hey, we talked about that SHIB structure, actually. I want to look at that because I think since we just got that liquidation event, it probably did that range deviation out of the structure. There it is. Okay, it did it. It did the move that we were discussing, that we might get this fake breakdown and then rip back into the pattern. Do you guys remember me talking about that? Like whenever somebody requested this asset a few weeks ago, it did the move. This is what XRP did before it broke out of its pennant. It's the same exact chart pattern. So yeah, SHIB coin could go on to make this major move. Could go on to make this major move up to whatever, this 1272 fib extension. It could even do some crazier stuff. I don't know. But just for all sakes and purposes of this pattern, it's a 645% measured move. All right. That is a 4-year structure. Wow. That is actually really an amazing chart. SHIB coin. So you remember me talking about this, right? How we could get this spike down before we get the rip up. I didn't know it was going to be during a massive liquidation event, but like, there you go. You got it. You got the move down. Sweet. Hang tight if you're a SHIB holder. Wow. Pretty amazing stuff there. All right. Well, we got 10 people on the stream tonight. Thank you guys all for tuning in, showing up, and supporting. Rivian, we can take a look at it. Oof, man. So you had an attempted breakout here. Yeah, Friday's price action wasn't really the best, man. But you actually started rejecting it like last week already, okay? But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this chart right now. This weekly here kind of ticked down. Yeah, your 2-week also starting to tick down. Yeah, I can't really get behind this right now, man. This doesn't look very good. Look at that. Look at that long wick 2-week candle you put in there, dude. You see this long wick candle right here? This one right here. And you got follow through on that selling. Okay, you're still respecting and making higher lows for now. But yeah, just watch this demand line. All right, you're in a massive downtrend. So leading up to this, I mean, yeah, you did get some volume though. So that's the thing. So yeah, I would pay attention to this demand line here. If this gets some bids tomorrow, yeah, maybe DCA a position or continue to try to trade this demand line until you get out of the structure and maybe you do flip into some sort of uptrend. Yeah. There's a stock that I really want to short. It's called Carvana. Do you guys know this stock right here that did 100x in 3 years? This stock did 100x. I'm really wanting to short this thing. Really, really wanting to short it. We got monthly bearish divergence on the stochastic RSI. I'm clipping short on the monthly here. This could be a very, 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 very profitable trade if this is timed properly. Yeah, put options. Yes. Okay. No confirmation yet on a break. I mean, okay, it was down 8% on Friday. I am printing a nice counter trend short signal here on the monthly. Damn. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason why this thing can't go back down to $200. Like, why can't it go back and test this 265 region? The other really big thing on this chart that's alarming, okay, is look at the volume. All the volume came in at the bottom, right? That's great. Smart money was loading up at the bottom. But this thing went up on receding volume. You can see the volume receding with the price going up. In my opinion, that is a very bearish thing to see. You want to continue to see volume coming in to this asset to support this price. Anyways, I will be looking for a short on Carvana here in the short term. As soon as this gives me some more confirmation. Well, it's giving it me right now, actually. The weekly just went short. So yeah, maybe tomorrow I will be opening a short position up on this thing. Perfect. Yep. Okay. Cool. Well, the other one I was going to also look at was SoFi. We did get a little bit of this short up here the other day when it was at like $28 a share. But just look what it just did. It just double topped, right? You had this top, same high. Okay, now we're looking for the neckline break at 25 to confirm this double top. And yeah, we can go all the way back down to the bull market support band here at $22. I think that's a great opportunity to short as well. Yeah, we'll look at AVAX. We'll look at WIF. Dog WIF hat. Okay. So yeah, you got a nice wick down to the range low. It was holding that support there until that liquidation event happened. I don't really see much of a really structure or pattern on this asset, to be honest. Okay. You close back above support on a long wick, but it doesn't mean that you can't come back down to test this support, because this was a liquidation event. So what could happen is you come back down to 32 potentially, tank potentially. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Daily's oversold actually, so you probably go up to test this 70-cent region. Yeah, let's see what kind of bids you get on WIF here, man. But this 70-cent region is going to be a resistance right now on this asset. But yeah, I mean, like the weekly here doesn't really look. Yeah, I mean the weekly here is pretty wrecked. Okay. You want to see this cross back up is what you want to see. We want to see WIF cross back up. Cool. Well, counter trend daily long coming in there. If you continue to hold where you're at, you're probably going to if this market doesn't just fully roll over right now. And if that does hold, then maybe you're looking at a potential double bottom with a neckline here at $1.20, and you could break to like 270s or whatever this range is. It's about a 278% measured move once you make closes above $1.25. So it could take you back up to about whatever that is, $5. Okay. Sand. Wow. Okay. So sand along with a lot of other charts with these long wicks. But this actually, unfortunately, made closures back below. It is below the range low, 23 cents. Sand needs to get bids back above this range. Do I think ETH is in good shape? I think it's okay. Anyways, we can go back to sand for a second. Somebody wanted that. You basically need to start making closures back above 23. So you can contest 30 and these range highs up here. Again, with the weekly coming into oversold territory there after that dump. The daily here getting oversold, obviously. Got a nice counter trend long signal there. So see if you get some follow through on this snap back up and maybe back up into the top of that range. It's got some work to do, man. Really. There's not really much I could really say. You really want to see this thing come back into this range. What do you want to say? All right. That's pretty much it. By the way, I have some bad news. Jim Cramer says, quote unquote, we're back. That is never good. Oh, man, that sucks. We don't want to hear that stuff right now, especially after that event we just saw. Anywho. What else do you guys want to look at? For all you pulse chain guys and hex guys. So I think the hex chart actually looks pretty good down here. This is a massive descending broadening formation. The monthly RSI looks good. Oh yeah, Avalanche was requested. Okay, so Avalanche here. So a bullish pennant. You got this, obviously this liquidation event that occurred. Still within the bounds of the structure. They closed it back into the back into the structure. Yeah, they brought it all the way down to $9. Crazy. Yeah, it did have this drawn. That's interesting. So there was probably some. I probably had it drawn like this because this to me looked like it was breaking and was actually just a fake break. Right, because even my weekly triggered here, and it was just a fake out, big fake out. And I think the two-day signals are much better at capturing some of this stuff, because the 2-day went short right here at like $31. But yeah, we got some counter trends here coming in on the 2-day. This could have been your capitulation and snap out rally here. I mean, that's what we're all hoping this does right now. So we're about to find out what some of this stuff's going to do. The pattern's still intact. It's still closed within the bounds of the structure. Okay. So nothing has really changed on this chart aside from a massive liquidation event that occurred. And that's really it. Let's go to the line chart here for a second. So the line chart and the yeah, we can check total too. And the measured move of the structure is about a 700% measured move. It's pretty significant when you do break. Take you right into that $200 range. Silver finally broke the cup and handle. Do you guys remember that stream we were going over the silver cup and handle? And I was like, yeah, maybe by the time I'm like 70 years old, this thing's going to break out. After Black Swan investors lose trust. Yeah. Well, I'll say this, man. They just wiped out pretty much all of retail on the leverage side of things. So they can do whatever they want with this market now. So yeah. Yeah, we'll look at silver. That is a confirmed breakout for silver. Monthly line chart confirms it. Weekly line chart is confirming it. Wow. Silver, baby. It's got some room, so the handle is a 218% measured move on the handle, man. So silver probably going to 150 bucks. Crazy. See you there. Wow. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, they are. Well, silver not as much as gold. Gold is just, wow. What, like 90 on the RSI right now? Monthly? Dude, gold broke out of a what? Like a 50-year rising wedge? My God. Insane, man. Probably not a bad time to rotate gold into silver or even gold into platinum. Look at the gold platinum ratio right here. Look at the quarterly. Crazy bearish divergence. Oh, that's actually a good chart. Should we chart ETH versus gold? Probably looks like shit. Yeah. Here's ETH versus gold on the monthly time frame. Wow. Oh, wow. Look at the quarterly. Gold's going to get smoked. This breaks out. I should say when this breaks out. Hello, bull div. Clipping on the 2-month here against gold. Woo, ETH, let's go. Yeah. You got 2-month bullish divergence here against gold. Nice. It's probably not going to go to 32 ETH per an ounce of gold. No way. But I would probably just fib it from here, from this cycle. Yeah, so maybe 4. So right now it's like 1-to-1, roughly. Yeah. So here's your ETH coming off versus gold. And what could occur is you could be looking at the ETH to gold ratio to about 4.2, which means that 1 ETH would be equivalent to 4.2 ounces of gold. Yep. That's right. Something on that order. Cool. Let's look at the dollar index here for a minute. So the dollar index on the weekly's got some divergence that we need to talk about here. There is some divergence on the weekly time frame. It is trying to get back above its weekly bull market support band. So that's not good. And the monthly is sitting on the monthly super trend and is also trying to reclaim its bull market support band. Something to keep your eye on. Okay. That's really it. I think the stock market's probably going to give some sort of oversold bounce here after that massive candle down on Friday. Markets are in fear. Volatility index was the VIX spiked on Friday. It still might continue spiking. We'll see. We might just continue to see some volatility here over the next couple days, couple weeks, as this all kind of pans out and see how this all resolves. So I do not recommend leverage trading right now. I don't recommend leverage trading most of the time. You shouldn't really be doing that unless you really know what you're doing. Trading spot, there's enough volatility in these markets. You're seeing it. I think is fine. M2 money supply is ripping. Yeah, it is. There is about a 75 to 90 day lag period for Bitcoin against M2. So, like I said, we could see something in the next maybe a couple weeks here after this all kind of settles. We'll see how this pans out. But yeah, let's take a look at the Pi cycle stuff here on Bitcoin. And we'll give you guys kind of a clue as to when this might actually top out. So like this has actually been remarkably accurate for pretty much every cycle leading up to where we're at. I mean, minus the beginning stages here of Bitcoin where this indicator didn't really do us any good, but these tops were pretty good. I don't see why this doesn't also help us out in this run too. So we haven't flashed Pi cycle top. We haven't flashed a lot of things just yet. So we are overbought on some of these high time frames. We are bearishly diverging. These things are all going on right now for sure. We are not in bubble risk territory on the monthly time frame at all. That is another thing you really want to be paying attention to. Okay, throughout this whole bull run, we've actually not even gotten heated, really that heated. The last time Bitcoin really got heated was in 2017. You could see here, November 2020. That wasn't really anything. That was just the rally starting here. Into this first top that we made here in April of 21. So let's take a look at the April of 21 region here. Where were we? Maybe not the monthly isn't the best to look at. Maybe we should look at the weekly. Okay. Yeah. So here you could see February. In March of 21, we were pretty heated on the bubble risk indicator here. Then we made this bearish divergence on the bubble risk on that retest. And that was the top. That was the top right there. Okay. And currently, we haven't had levels like that at all. I mean, like the most euphoric that we got here was this December 2024 run. And we tagged 100K, I think, when we got really overbought through this break here. And it really hasn't even come close to surpassing those levels on the short-term bubble risk indicator. This was, earlier part of the summer in July. Yeah, it doesn't really look like it's euphoric on the bubble risk indicator. Okay. That's all I got. We've been live for what, almost an hour here. We can go through some more tickers if you guys want for the next like 10 minutes here. Total 2. Yeah, sorry about that. We'll look at that. I mean, that monthly candle is just a massive wick. Did get an early sign to sell here in August. Okay, that did come. But no exuberant anything. No overbought candles on the monthly chart. None of that stuff. Did get some volume here in August. We're at the top of a range, but we're not. We didn't get any of these way overbought candles like this, man. So why wouldn't we get that? Maybe we get this first or something, and then that. Yeah, it's kind of up in the air right now, to be honest with you. It's tough. I think at some point we're going to get something. I just don't see how these market cycles end with no euphoria. It doesn't really make any sense. The quarterly looks fine. Right? Like we didn't get some crazy break on a squeeze here. The quarterly still looks okay. You're building positive momentum on a quarterly. It's still ticked up on a quarterly. Again, short-term bubble risk indicator is nowhere near euphoric levels. Yeah, I mean that's it. That's the only thing, and that's a big thing, I guess. But not for something like ETH. Okay. ETH should give us a new all-time high. It really should. This should give us a new all-time high. Like we haven't even seen an overbought candle on the monthly time frame here on ETH. We don't have any bearish divergence on the monthly right now. We're sitting at a 64 on the monthly RSI, not overbought. Right. So why wouldn't we see some sort of euphoria on ETH? We should. We should see that. Anyways, I guess we'll find out here in the next week or two what's going on. Market manipulation, sure. It has. But for a reason, because they wanted to reaccumulate it. Right? You think about it. Like Solana shouldn't be leading an altcoin run. ETH should be. Anyways. Let's see how it pans out here. On a wick on a Sunday close. I mean, I don't think so, man. That to me was a fake break. It wasn't a real click. It wasn't a real close up there. Look. It wasn't a real close up there. Yeah. It was a liquidity grab. No, it didn't. It did not. No closures above on the weekly. I mean, okay, yeah, maybe. Just. Technically, it didn't because you had this wick up here. But candle body wise, yeah, I guess it did for like that final candle close. But you want to see multiple candle weekly closes like that. Anyways, you see what happens here. We had a nice pullback here on ETH. Nice 30% pullback. I would say that this looks fine. Your weekly is pretty much almost reset here on the weekly. Yeah, your daily crossing back up here. I think, we got to see some reclaims here of these levels. Maybe some sideways here a bit. I mean, you're within what? Not even a 20% move of your all-time high. Yeah. I had targets up to about 7K. That first fib extension there. I don't see why we don't see that eventually if this market remains in an uptrend or remains bullish. That's really it. It's the patience game. That's it. All right. Exactly. All right. Well, I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully we'll see some recoveries and some consolidations at these range lows here, and we see some bids start flying back into these markets. Yeah. I mean, the quarterly on ETH is just, there's nothing bearish about the high time frame here on ETH. You got that going for you there. Right. We're nowhere near overbought territories on the quarterly chart. It's got room to run on the quarterly. The monthly here. Okay, maybe you're a little bit extended on the monthly on the stochastic, but it's still ticked up on the monthly. Your weekly here kind of crossed down, giving you this dip here. And well, your 3-day here is holding bullish control zone. Your daily giving you this nice RSI bullish divergence here. All right. Now, I would still say that the structure here on ETH is still pretty bullish to me. All right. This is now setting up as another descending broadening formation with some bullish divergence on the daily. Now, looks like it's setting up for a break north. Anyways, see how this pans out. You guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you guys next week. And Bitcoin holding its bull market support band as well for now. I think all is okay here on the Bitcoin front until we start losing $100,000. I think we're okay. All right, that's it. That's all I got. Catch you guys next week. Hey everyone, you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. Go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profit Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day, you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts, and that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service, and I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the charts.